All right. So the objectives for today, biologists will be able to clarify any misconceptions about our second unit, and biologists will be able to demonstrate mastery on the Unit 2 exam. So I'm going to give you all an opportunity to ask any final questions, and we're going to take a Kahoot to review a little bit more and give you an opportunity to see what the actual test is like. And then we'll jump into the actual exam. And the essential question is, what have I learned about cells, and what information can I recall and use about biological compounds? So it's important to note that this is a cumulative class, so the information that we've learned in our first unit is still relevant here in this second unit. And as we continue to move through the course, everything that we've learned previously will still be important, and we'll continue to build upon those foundations of knowledge. All right, so let's jump into the Kahoot.
Cells are the smallest living units of an organism. All cells have three things in common, no matter what type of cell they are.
Thank you, Kyrie.
All cells have a cell membrane, which separates the inside of the cell from its
no more than
environment.
2 minutes to get joined, so until 12:18.
Cytoplasm, which is a jelly-like fluid, and DNA, which is the cell's genetic material. There are two broad categories of cells. The first category is eukaryotic cells. They have organelles, which include the nucleus and other special parts. Eukaryotic cells are more advanced, complex cells, such as those found in plants and animals. The second category is prokaryotic cells. They don't have a nucleus or membrane-enclosed organelles. They do have genetic material, but it's not contained within a nucleus. Prokaryotic cells are always one-celled or unicellular organisms, such as bacteria. So, what are organelles? Organelle means little organ. Organelles are the specialized parts of a cell that have unique jobs to perform. Let's start with the nucleus.
About 30 seconds left to join if you're hoping to join.
The nucleus contains DNA, or genetic material. DNA dictates what the cell is going to do and how it's going to do it. Chromatin is the tangled, spread-out form of DNA found inside the nuclear membrane.
Okay. What can happen to a cell if its mitochondria are removed? Okay, good. So mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. They make the energy. And so if we take out the mitochondria, if we remove the mitochondria, then the cell will not be able to produce energy. Good job, Nick. Good job, AJ. Which of the following is not a quality of an enzyme? So we're looking for the one that's not true. So enzymes, of course, are not deadly. They are reusable, they are specific, and they are catalysts. that was a tough one. Okay, so which of the following is present in a plant cell but absent in an animal cell? So we're looking for the one that only plant cells have. So of course, animal cells do not have chloroplasts. All right, chloroplasts are only in a plant cell. Ah, okay. So this is tough, but we have to remember that prokaryotic cells do not have nuclei. They do not have a nucleus. So in a prokaryotic cell, the DNA is found in what is called a plasmid. All right, so that one was a little tricky, but you just had to know that prokaryotic cells do not have a nucleus. No one got that. Sensing the chemical environment. Which one senses the chemical environment? Cilia. Okay, which one is responsible for sensing and detecting light? That one's a little bit easier because eye spot, of course, is responsible for detecting light, like most eyes are. Good job, good job. Where would you most likely find nucleotides in an animal cell? Think about it, nucleotides. Okay, so nucleotides are the subunit. They are the building block. They are the monomer of nucleic acids. So we need nucleotides to make DNA. And of course, DNA is found primarily in the nucleus. And we have to start making this connection between the words. If I'm hearing nucleotides, then I should be thinking nucleic acid, and I should be thinking nucleus. They all start with N-U-C-L-E. Nick's on fire. Okay, good job. Okay, good. So we're thinking that amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. And of course, proteins get assembled in the ribosome. So ribosomes are needed to produce proteins, which means you can find many amino acids in the ribosome. All right, this one is tricky as well. Glycerol and 3 fatty acids, of course, are the building blocks of lipids. So the cell membrane is made up of what are called phospholipids. We talked about this in our first unit. So again, all this stuff is cumulative. We got to be able to rely on a foundation of knowledge that is strong. So make sure you're still continuing to learn from your Unit 1 notes as well. Okay. Yep, again, glucose is needed to make sugars, and sugar is needed to make energy. So mitochondria are responsible for making energy, so that's where we can find the glucose. Who can catch up to Nick? True or false? Prokaryotes have a nucleus. Good, that's false. Prokaryotes do not have a nucleus. Do prokaryotes have chloroplast and mitochondria? True or false? Okay. So chloroplast and mitochondria are considered membrane-bound organelles. Membrane-bound organelles. So prokaryotes do not have membrane-bound organelles. Only eukaryotes have those. Good. Yep. Which of the following is the correct pairing of monomer to polymer? So which one of them pairs up the monomer and the polymer correctly? Good. Everybody else is incorrect. Only amino acids and proteins are correct. What provides the instructions to make proteins? What provides the instructions? DNA provides the instructions. Good. Man, Nick, running away with it. What would be the total power magnification of a microscope with a 40 times objective lens? Good. All we need to do is multiply it by 10. So keep that in mind. You just need to multiply the objective lens by 10. Which of the following would be most useful to a sprinter before running a 100-meter race? We need the quick energy. We need quick energy before a sprint. So carbs would be most useful. Good. All right, last question, true or false? The contractile vacuole is a temporary projection of the membrane used to digest food. Good. So the temporary projection of the membrane that's used to digest food is called the pseudopod, not the contractile vacuole. Nick blew it out of the water. Good job, Nicholas or Kyrie. Okay. So we had some difficult questions here. So I want you all to take at least 9 minutes to look at your notes, clarify anything that's confusing, ask some questions before we move on. I want you all to really dive into your notes and make sure that you have some good stuff available to you before we take the test. Any questions, folks? Any questions? Preguntas? Okay, no questions. So yesterday we talked about a brain dump, and I wanted to shout out Jessica, who emailed me and said, Mr. Rudd, I don't know what a brain dump is. And so thank you for doing that, Jessica, because I realized that I hadn't really talked about it or defined a brain dump. So biology, when we're in school, we have our students complete a brain dump before they take their exam. We take 3 or 4 minutes before the test for them to dump everything that's in their brain onto the paper. So anything that they can think of that will be useful on the test, they just try to write it down on paper. And typically that looks like us giving them just a few minutes with some basic topics on the board and reminding them to make sure that they have notes on those topics. And so this could be an example. You have 3 sections on a single piece of paper that allow you to write down specific notes. So one section might be about biological molecules. And then I want to have a note about carbohydrates. Okay, carbohydrates are made out of glucose, and I can find them in the mitochondria. Then you want to have a section for lipids, then nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are DNA and RNA. I can find them in the nucleus. They're made out of nucleotides, so on and so forth. And so you want to have examples, you want to have definitions, and you want to make some connections between these terms. Then you have another section that's also on your paper. Maybe that section is about enzymes, and you want to have specific facts about enzymes under that section. They are reusable, they're specific, they are catalytic. And then maybe a third section about cells. So essentially this brain dump is like a cheat sheet, but it's a cheat sheet that we will allow, and it's a cheat sheet that gives you an opportunity to organize your thoughts and your notes in a creative but effective and efficient way. So I always encourage students to create their brain dump before the test. It gets them thinking about questions that they can anticipate coming up on the test, and it gives them a way to refer back to these specific notes as they're taking the test. Of course, you all can use your notes while we're taking these tests virtually, but I encourage you to still do a brain dump because it can be distracting, flipping back and forth between pages. You could run out of time, you can't find things, and you start to get discouraged. Versus if you have everything on one sheet of paper, maybe front and back, it gives you something that you can refer to easily, quickly. You don't have to do too much searching for it, and you can make clear connections between the entire unit. So I encourage you all to make your brain dumps. I think that they are helpful. I'm going to leave this up for a couple of minutes. Yeah, Kyrie. So like I was saying, basically what you're seeing on the screen right now is what I would do. So let me actually open up this. That's a good question. Thank you for asking that. So if I was making my brain dump, let's say I have a sheet of paper. Now, of course, you all are writing this, but like I said, maybe you want to have one section about cells. And then in this section about cells, you have, how can I do this? Your cellular organelles. So I have a list of organelles here. My nucleus, my chloroplasts, my mitochondria, what else do we talk about? Cell membrane, plasma membrane, ribosomes, cell wall. So then I might want to make additional notes. Cell wall, only in plants. Chloroplasts, only in plants. And I might want to make notes about what they do. So the nucleus, control center. So, okay, hold on. Mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell. Controls what goes in and out. Makes proteins. Protects to provide structure. Chloroplast, responsible for photosynthesis. So you start to make your brain dump look like this. Then I might have another section on enzymes. Reusable. I can, they come out same way they go in. They're specific. Only work with one or two substrates. Catalysts, speed up reactions. Lower the activation energy. All right, so again, this is basically just like something that you can use to organize your thoughts. I might have a section as well on biological compounds. Carbs, made up of glucose, lipids, made up of glycerol, fatty acid, proteins. And then, even better, I might start to think about how can I connect the two. So, you see. So nucleic acids, I might want to draw an arrow up to the nucleus. Proteins, I might want to draw an arrow up to the ribosomes. Lipids, I might want to draw an arrow up to the plasma membrane. Carbs, I might want to draw an arrow up to the mitochondria. So you can start to connect these things. And then enzymes we know are proteins as well. So maybe I draw another arrow from proteins to enzymes. So why don't you all take about 4 minutes to try to work on your brain dump. Let me know if you have any questions about what else you might want to include, and then we'll start. Okay. So as we get into the test, I just want you all to remember to take a deep breath, relax, just make sure that you are in a productive space, that you have your notes or your brain dump, whatever you're going to be using near, and that you can use them effectively and efficiently. Everything that you need to know for the test, you already know. We've talked about. There shouldn't be any surprises. In fact, if there is a surprise, if there's a word that you've never seen before, that means that it's either irrelevant to the answer or that means that it is not the answer. Okay, so if it's something that you've not seen and you've been present in class and paying attention, then I can guarantee you it's not the answer. All right, so that being said, we are going to log into NCEd Cloud and click on the SchoolNet icon, which is the red house. Click on the Take a Test option and then enter our test code, which is WMBIO-U2T, as in West Mac Bio U2, Unit 2 test. There may be some issues, and hopefully most of you don't experience any issues, but if you struggle getting into the test, the only thing that I can really tell you right now is to continue to try to refresh your page. My previous class had issues, and I'm probably going to put the test on different platforms so that we can get some people to take it who don't have that opportunity at a later date. But I want everybody to go ahead and log into SchoolNet and see if it works for you now.
Mr. Rudd, the code isn't working for me.
Okay, like I said, there's nothing that I can really do on my side. So if you keep trying and it's still not working, if you keep refreshing, signing out, then we'll just have to try again at another day. I'm going to use another platform.
Okay.
Hey folks, it's 1:20, so that means that class is now over. Hopefully many of you were able to take the quiz. I did not monitor on SchoolNet because I didn't want it to slow down any further, but I will check, and those of you who did not will have to take it on Monday. Other than that, have a great weekend, and let me know if you need anything at any time. I'll talk to you soon.